When you're moving to a new country, it is very important to do your research. But sometimes, because that country doesn't have a lot of content made about it, there aren't a lot of reliable sources of information, it is very difficult for you to even know what to search, what to look for, what to type on Google in order to do your research properly. And that is why I started making these videos, because I want to give you that information. A very good example is this thing that happened a few years ago around the time when I first came to Barbados. I met a guy, he was from the United States, and he was in a very sad situation. Now, before I tell you that story, I want to talk about the video that you're currently watching. We are currently at the Golden Square Freedom Park. As you can see, we are at the beginning. We are going to go around like I'm showing in the video, and I'm going to show you different parts of this beautiful square. Now, this place is not paid, it's free, you can access it, you can come here, you can sit down, you can do whatever you want. The only thing I'm going to say, which is general in Barbados, is don't feed the birds, right? All over Barbados, you're going to see pigeons and birds, blackbirds, whatever, around the place. And many people, many tourists or foreigners are tempted to just throw some scraps at them. Maybe you're eating a burger or you just throw some seeds at them or whatever. Don't do that, because then they become quite aggressive towards human beings. People can't enjoy the place anymore and the birds start to harass them. So if you bring any food here and you want to eat on some of these tables and stuff, just don't feed the birds. So we're going to be going around and you'll see different parts, and any part that catches my fancy, I'm going to explain. Some of the posters and the boards and whatever you're going to see are going to have QR codes like this desk. You can chair like this chair. You can pause the video and take a picture of the thing or scan the QR code or whatever, and you're going to get more information about the thing. This place is so nice, and you get a lot of information by just scanning the QR codes. So anytime I see a QR code, I'm going to try to spend some time there so that if you're with your phone, you can just scan and read more about that area, since I'm not going to be explaining too much about this place we are currently in. So let me tell you the video about what happened with this American guy. I was coming back on Sunday, a particular Sunday like that. I was coming back from church, and back then I wasn't driving, nothing. I was just walking. So you walk from one bus stop to the other and you try to get the next bus to take you to your next location. So I was just walking from the first place the bus stopped me to the next bus stop in Bridgetown, and then I was going to go to my house. I think back then I was living in Welch's or so. And then I saw this American guy, and he looked more or less confused, lost, and he was just looking around. And I looked at him, stared at him for a while, and then raised my hand and waved and smiled at him. Now, I learned this particular maneuver from Bajans. I learned this maneuver of look, stare, smile, and wave from Bajans, because when I first moved to Barbados, anytime I looked lost and anytime I didn't know what next to do, where next to go, how to find a particular bus route to go to a place that I wanted to visit or whatever, and I was just looking left and right and looking at my phone, looking at Google Maps, eventually there will be a guy or a woman staring at me. And when I look in their direction, they're just going to smile and wave. And sometimes they will go the extra step to ask, "You're looking for something?" or "Is there anywhere I can help?" or whatever. And I noticed that these people are the best people that can help you, because the moment you say what your problem is, they're going to say, "Oh, that's okay. All you have to do is to go there, turn left, and you're going to see." And it's nice. I'm very happy that there are people who have that kind of mindset. I think it's almost every Bajan, to be honest. Every time I've been lost, you will always find somebody who is willing to help. So I said, well, these streets are practically empty, and this guy is going to be lost for the foreseeable future. So since I'm the only guy here, because it was a particularly dry Sunday, if you live in Barbados, you know what I'm talking about. Around Bridgetown, around 2 p.m., it's dry. It's dry on Sunday. So I said he's going to be lost for a while. The least I can do is help him. So I waved at him and I smiled and I greeted him good afternoon. And he was so happy to see someone and that was actually interested in helping him. And he walked over and he said, "What's going on?" And that question, that question surprised me, to be honest. Like, he just came up to me and said, "What's going on?" I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on. And he said, yeah, where's everybody? And I said, well, they're at home or wherever. They're not here. And he said, no, like, where's everybody? And then I realized that coming from the United States, he wasn't used to this. This is Barbados, and it's Sunday, and most of the stores are closed. They're shut down till Monday. Some don't even open on Monday. Some open on Tuesday, right? And they're shut, closed. And I said, well, it's Sunday. Everybody is at home. They're either at home or they're in church, or they just came back from church, they're at home, right? And this is the interesting thing I like about Barbados. Like, the majority of the people you're going to see here are Christians. Like, almost everybody is a Christian. But even the ones that are not Christians are very happy to take Sunday off because Barbados is a very easygoing place. It's chill. It's not a hyper-capitalistic modernist society. It's not, everybody is not trying to push to get the last maximum dollar. So you won't find a lot of shops open. And even if there are shops open, the people don't get a lot of customers because your customers are also taking the day off. So everywhere is going to be empty. And I told him it's Sunday and people are at home. And then he said, oh, then he told me his story. So let me tell you what this guy faced in one weekend. He booked a flight to Barbados. And he was going to spend the weekend in Barbados. Just chill, relax for 3 days. He landed Friday. Friday morning. So he was going to spend Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Barbados, and then travel back Monday morning. But here's the problem. Friday was a public holiday. Saturday, the places he wanted to go to were closed because it was the weekend. And Sunday was completely dry. And so all the activities he booked couldn't happen because he planned it wrongly. So the moral of the story is this, very important. When you're coming to Barbados, there are things you should know. National holiday. In many parts of the world, you hear things like bank holidays where the banks will be closed, and sometimes you have many other businesses open, right? Just the banks are closed, or just government offices are closed. If there's a national holiday in Barbados specifically, I can't say for every other country, but in Barbados, practically every business is going to be 95% of businesses are going to be closed. 95% of locations are going to be closed, right? So if you're planning to come to Barbados and you're coming around the period where there's going on a national holiday or a national holiday falls during the weekend, it's going to affect one of the weekdays, either Friday or Monday, right? So you have to plan that. Secondly, on the weekend, especially on Sunday, almost all the shops are also closed. You have a similar effect like national holiday. The buses don't run, the stores are closed, the businesses are closed. Many things are closed. Very many things are closed. I mean, you can find some things open, like there is a gaming center that is going to be open, or the cinema is going to be open, or maybe one of these 24 hours gas stations is going to be open. But if you're looking at touristy kind of activities that you planned to happen during the weekend, many of them are going to be closed, right? So you just have to keep that in mind. I mean, as Barbados starts to cater more towards the tourism industry or hospitality industry, you'll find that as the years go by, more and more stores will be opening during the weekends to accommodate for, that, and especially with many people complain about the cost of living in Barbados, you will have people doing business on the weekends as well. But as it stands right now, most of the shops in Barbados are going to be closed on Sundays. So if this is something that doesn't happen in your country, you have to think about that. You have to adapt towards that before you come to Barbados. Another thing that I think, is a culture shock for many people is that in Barbados, people actually care. I've said this many times on this channel, that people actually care in Barbados. They want to help you. They want to greet you. They want to make sure you're doing okay. If you live in a neighborhood and you have neighbors and stuff like that, your neighbors actually want to know that you're doing well. This is something that I noticed in Barbados, and it's not very common in the Western world. It's not very common in many places in the US. It's not very common in many places in the UK. In those countries, you're basically minding your own business. And that is a serious problem, because if you're used to minding your own business, there are many people that come to Barbados and they are genuinely irritated by greetings. I've seen this happen many times. And I even had a friend that said she doesn't like greeting white people. She just said it like that. She said, I don't like greeting white people because when you greet them, they turn and look at you as if you've done something wicked. Like you've ruined their day with your greeting. All right. And this is something you should realize about Barbados. Barbados is a genuinely friendly place. People are not going to just lose their culture, lose their manners, lose their respect and their care and their greeting simply because you don't want to be spoken to. Right? If you don't want to be spoken to and you come to Barbados, put on giant headphones on your ears, or stay in your house. So you give a clear signal, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want anybody to say hi, to say hello. My day is going to be ruined. I don't like you guys. I just came here for the weather, right? If that is what you want. But if you come to Barbados and people are greeting you, just greet is hi, is hello, it's good morning, it's good afternoon. It doesn't kill you. It doesn't bite you. It doesn't shorten your lifespan. On the contrary, it boosts dopamine level. It boosts oxytocin levels. It reduces your cortisol. It makes you feel refreshed. You see what I did there? I just put some dopamine, oxytocin, to make you guys feel like I'm actually intelligent and I went to medical school. Maybe because I did, but I've forgotten a lot about it. Now I'm a business major. Now I have degrees in business administration, and this is just a vestigial organ that is inside my body. So on this wall now that you're looking at in this video, I'm actually looking at names, and I found some Nigerian names, Yoruba names. Abeokuta is a state in Nigeria, and I found Akinyemi, and I became very interested in seeing how many names that I could find on this wall, and then I started going back and forth looking for names, more Nigerian names and more Yoruba names. I found my name at the top, Andrew, and I was very happy to see that. And then I found another name, Adeleko, and so many Nigerian names. So for the rest of this video, I got carried away. Normally, when I'm making videos, I like to find things that are interesting for my viewers. But then when I got to this wall and I saw that there were actually some Nigerian and Yoruba names on the wall, I got carried away and I started going back across the entire wall to find more names. So for the rest of this video, if you just see me staring at walls and pointing at things when I find them, you know that is what is happening. I think I have like a squirrel brain. Bello is a Hausa name in northern Nigeria, so I found that one as well. I think I have a squirrel brain that when something just catches my fancy, I just forget everything I was doing. Like, look at this video, I'm still at the walls. Like, I'm still at the walls. What was I thinking? Anyway, I think the rest of this video is me at these walls. And then after the walls, I think I went to the back and then went towards the road, and that was the end of the video. So I don't know. I'm going to cut this video right here because none of this is interesting. But if you want me to do a video where I just go through the walls and try to find your name, I'll be happy to do that. But I don't think the rest of the video makes any sense. Okay. Thank you very much for watching this video. And you can get the book Move to Barbados if you want to know stuff like this so that you don't get culture shock. I have everything written in the book. In my next video or next two videos, I don't know which one is going to be, I'm going to do a full review of the book. I've been telling you buy the book, buy the book, buy the book, but many of you don't even know what's in the book. So I'm going to do a review of the 16 chapters in the book, and then you guys will know everything that I cover in the book to help you move to Barbados, live, thrive in Barbados. It's the only book of its kind on the entire internet. Trust me, I searched before I wrote it. And I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe. We are at 2,300. We're heading to 3,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for your subscription. Bye-bye.